This story here. Andrew Cuomo allegedly violated federal and state laws by sexually harassing multiple women. According to sources, he retaliated against employees who complained about his behavior. The New York Attorney General released a statement that Cuomo has sexually harassed multiple women, but Cuomo is denying the allegations and says that he has no plan to resign. Let's take a look.
Know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances.
Shortly after his speech, President Joe Biden held a press conference at the White House and said that when he was asked about it, he said Cuomo should resign from office. What are your thoughts on this and the allegations? And should he resign? And do you believe them?
It hurts me. I'm not a stan of a lot of people, but I love me some Andrew Cuomo. Like I love that man's dirty draws. I like his chutzpah. I love the way he manages New York City. However, Tarana Burke and the Me Too movement has taught me that when a woman says that something was done to her, that we are not to double traumatize her by doubting it, and we're supposed to, lend ourselves a lending ear to it. I hope he didn't do it. I can't say one way or another. I hope he didn't do it, and he's done a good job with New York City. And if he did do it, I mean, maybe there's a world where the two can be separate, that he can manage the city and pay the civil case. I don't know, but I just hope
he's got the whole state because he's governor too.
Yep.
So Al, what do you think about this?
Let me tell you what's so interesting about this story. In one of my jobs as a corporate strategist, I was brought into this organization in Florida. It was an international organization. And one of the things that I was doing while I was there was I was cleaning up their executive structure. And I had to offboard a particular woman in leadership there. And while I was offboarding her, she asked if she could go to the bathroom. And I just let it slip past me and all my professional know-how. I let her go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom and she filed a sexual assault complaint on me and called in the law into the situation. So when she returned back from the bathroom, I had a sexual assault case against me. Not only did I have a sexual assault case against me, but she had two eyewitnesses who supported her claim that what she said I did. And it was interesting because you want to know what she said I said. She said that we were in an intimate setting. We were close to one another. And I looked at her and I said, wow, you have really nice eyes. So I shared that to say that particular instance just goes to show how sometimes in this movement, things can be interpreted. She interpreted the way that I looked at her and was trying to find a positive and not a negative, because she looked negative. I was trying to find a positive, but she turned that positive that positive validation into sexual assault in order to save her job. Now, the interesting thing about Cuomo to me, and I'm not making up any excuses, I'm just sharing my personal experience on how I found myself on the other side of a situation like this, not by one person, but two other people who claimed that it did happen. Cuomo was such a hero to the African Americans in the state of New York. And I feel like living in New York City for 22 years gives me some grounds to talk about this. African Americans love Cuomo. This reminded me so much of like a Bill Clinton moment, where somebody who rebelled for us, someone who helped us in employment disparity, healthcare disparity, in workforce disparity, someone who finally stepped up to the plate and liked us is being brought down in this fashion. It's just sad to witness. But the state attorney general did an investigation, and Wrangler said, step back in March. He said, step back and let's find out what the findings are from the investigation, and whatever the investigation found, we will support. So unfortunately, we may have to say goodbye and thank you to Cuomo all in the same day.
I'm sitting over here giggling because sexual harassment fish that filed the case on you didn't even know you don't even like Tootsie Cat. So she wasted her damn time.
Someone in the chat said, was Al gay then? That's what someone in the chat said.
See,
Leave Al alone.
a whole other conversation, because in the African American community, if you're bisexual, they cut out the bi side and they make you 100% gay. But we don't
Child,
keep
you didn't want that Tootsie Cat. Go on to the next story, Claudia.
for sure. But I'm just saying.
You're right.
You know,
You're right.
Al, I feel both what both of y'all saying. I love Andrew Cuomo as well. I feel like he was such coming out of how we initially felt about him with COVID in the state of New York. He was looking quite presidential for a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, all these cases came out. Not to say they can't be true, but at first I was reading them. I'm like, okay, he brushed his hand against someone's arm. Okay. Then I heard another. And Al, I too had a bitch ass guy try to say that put sexual harassment on me. He talked about his penis almost every day at work, said all kinds of inappropriate stuff, said how he want to spend the night at my house. And one day, I asked a question on the air, and fans were responding to me through Twitter, and someone sent a D pic. And I was like, oh my God, look. And I showed him. He used that against me when he felt like he was on the way out. And he went to HR and said that I made him feel uncomfortable. This man talked about sleeping with me, talked about how big his penis was. He talked about how he liked anal sex, all kinds of stuff. But guess what? He went to HR, and people sometimes we're so wicked now where it's hard to know what's the truth now. Yeah. But then on the other hand, you don't want to deny someone's truth. So
it's so interesting because it appears to me, I don't know, maybe because I am not a fan of his. I really do like him a lot. That maybe he just didn't know. I just don't understand why a friend didn't pull him aside years ago, because this was over the course of a couple of years. Somebody didn't say, okay, look, this is the third report in human resources that we got on you. I'm gonna need you to do this. I'm gonna need you to pull it back and how friendly you are, because these friendly gestures are being interpreted as aggressive and sexually assaulting people. I hate to see it go like go, but
that's the sad part too, and the risky part too about working in businesses now. You can't even say when you see a coworker on the elevator, "Hey, Claudia, you look nice today." You can't even do that. And you know, I'm the type of coworker. I get very personable with people I work with because that's just my nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm around you all day long. So I want to be in your business. I want to be able to say, Claudia, that is a nice dress you have on, but you can't even do that anymore without somebody running to HR on you. And here's what I do think, to your point, Claudia, about him looking presidential. I think that's just it. I think that this is an Olivia Pope job. They're like, let's cut him out right now. The same way they did Andrew Gillum. Yes, Andrew Gillum did what he did. And yes, Cuomo may have done what they're saying he's done, but somebody went and dug this mess up and brought it to the forefront in an effort to ruin his chances of getting that nomination.
Let me tell you though, Q, and what's so interesting, you guys remember the primaries, the African-American vote is what has him in that seat. We came out in record numbers. We came out in record numbers in the state of New York like has never been done in the history of polls. It just is burning me up inside that this has happened. I just, I do say that if he should resign, but if he did not, hope to goodness somebody finds a way to allow that man to continue to do the great things he's done for our community and for the citizens of the state of New York.
And unfortunately, before we go on to the next story, unfortunately, the Democrats hold our party and our members at a much higher standard than the Republicans, because Donald Trump had a good 17, 18, 20 some women that came forward. And there was a lot of us that didn't come forward and join the lawsuits and join the case. OK, a lot of us that did not, that could have, and it's like they made every excuse for him. Oh, it's just locker room talk. What locker room has Donald Trump's wide fat ass been in? None. You know what I'm saying? No one, there's the same energy wasn't there. They just brushed it off. But when a Democrat does it, we help. Nah, we cannot allow that in our party. It's so frustrating. All right.